Welcome to FEO on the Air, the voice of the festivals and events industry in Ontario. Please welcome our CEO and your host, Dave McNeil.
Hello and welcome to FEO on the Air. On this edition, we're welcoming Javed Khan back to the studio. Javed's with EMpression, a marketing services company and an international speaker, and we're always happy to have him in and to share his wisdom and knowledge base with us. Many of you have seen him at our conference several times, and he's always able to elevate that topic to the next level and get people motivated. And Javed, we're glad that you're here with us today.
Dave, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have another engaging conversation as we usually do.
So in the marketing world, the biggest trend is video and the incorporation of video into all of your platforms. Can you speak a little bit about that process?
Yeah, the operative word there was hot trend. It is literally a hot trend, and it is not getting cold anytime soon. Video in multiple forms is an amazing type of content that people can create regardless of what industry you're in. And certainly in this case for festivals and events, it's like the perfect content piece that people can be doing for their festivals and events in multiple areas, right? There is one particular area that I really think can be a game changer for festivals and event organizers, and that specifically is leveraging video to create a personal connection, to build relationships, not only with their audiences, but also with their partners and with their internal teams, with their volunteers. Personalized video, Dave, is certainly a game changer for multiple people just because it's really easier for me to communicate and show my emotion and have that connectivity as human beings versus writing a lot of text and not knowing what kind of tone that is that kind of comes across.
Yeah, and as a former broadcaster and television person, to me, I always get hung up on the quality and the long form, and it's not about that anymore. It's those quick little hits, and like you said, it's a quick thank you message or that face-to-face connection. But to me, I still have it in my mindset that video is expensive. It's hard to do, and you need a lot of equipment to do it. But, with a phone, a little bit of ingenuity and some sessions like this with companies like yours, it's really what everybody should be doing.
Absolutely. I frankly, there is no excuse for anyone after either listening to today's show or pausing this show and doing some of the insights that we're going to share with them. There's really no excuse for anyone to do a personalized video. I hear a lot of things like, I don't look good on camera. I don't have that big production. It's too expensive. There's excuses beyond excuses that I get and I hear other than just hit the record button and just take the video. It's very simple. There is no excuse, as you suggested. We've got these devices in our pockets that are really, really good in terms of not only audio, but really good in terms of the actual camera itself, the lens itself, that you can really churn out a real high quality video message or even a high quality video interview that you have with perhaps one of your partners, your audience member. You don't necessarily need, it's not back in the day, Dave, as you remember, where you were lugging massive equipment and you were lugging wires and all that stuff. Those days are somewhat over in terms of being able to do more of a personalized video.
And the younger generation has really taken a hold of that. I mean, that phone, they live and die by the phone. And like you said, the camera and the recording devices that are built into these devices now, it's so sophisticated. And I mean, Instagram for that younger demographic is what it's all about. And those little short, 5 to 10 second snippets that tell a story throughout the day is where everything seems to be heading.
It's where everything seems to be happening. And as I suggest to your audience in this show, there is, again, they're not better than the listener today. If you are a festival and event organizer and you're listening to the show, no one's better than anyone in terms of being able to do that, as you say, 30-second and 1-minute video and putting it on your Instagram feed. There's really no, again, going back to excuses, there's really no excuse that your every second post that you have on your Instagram should not be a video. We talk about Gary Vaynerchuk. You look at Gary Vaynerchuk's feeds. if those folks listening to the show right now, pause the show, go to your Instagram feed and look up Gary V, and you'll see literally every post or every second post of his is a video. And it's literally sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, and he pushes them to IGTV.
It's funny. I was just going to go right to that very comment in Gary V, and really a leader in this whole video forward. And I remember one of the clips he talked about is that if your company is not a media company first and foremost, driving content to all of your different marketing methods, then you're losing out already. So it doesn't matter whether you're selling shoes or you're selling liquor like he does. If you don't think of yourself as that media company first and foremost, you're behind the game already.
Absolutely.
So, Javed, what are some ways that some of our members can generate value for their partners using video?
I can go on and on and on, but I'll share with you a number of ideas that people can create value for their members and for their audiences and for their partners. First and foremost, and again, I'll go back to the whole personalized video concept. Really, after today's show, I want you to jot down perhaps the top 3 that you really like from what we talked about here. So, for instance, send a heartfelt thank you video to a partner of yours, to your audience members. That's one way you can really start to up your game in terms of video messaging. Introduce yourself after you receive a referral from someone. So, introduce yourself to the referral and then send a separate video to the person who actually referred you to someone else. If there's a particular update that you want to provide, so let's say you're running a certain air show as an event. It'd be amazing that you could send out a video updating people every so often whenever you sign a new act, a new pilot to that air show in terms of, to the program. If you've got a specific invitation that you want to get out, and maybe it's to your VIP audiences, there's another great way to do a personalized video to send to your VIP audiences in terms of invites. If you want to check in after a period of what I call inactivity, so this is a great opportunity for you to stay not only relevant, but keep people's attention. If you're looking to bring on a new partner and you've had a few meetings with him or her or the organization, great opportunity for you to send out a personalized video and say, hey, it's Joe Schmo from X event. Just wanted to touch base and inquire as to our next steps in terms of our conversation of having you come on board as a partner with our festival and or an event. So I've given, like 4 or 5 ideas here, and there's multiple ideas that you can consider, just jotting them down. But the point here, Dave, is these are like personalized, as you say, non-Hollywood type videos that you want to send out and keep that relationship going and really put that human factor back into your digital communications.
And we're not talking long format here, Javed. You're talking like 10 to 30 second quick clips that are...
Yeah, absolutely. 15 to 30 seconds, even 10 seconds. Once you really get honed in on these personalized videos, in many cases, they are literally less than 10 seconds because they are either introducing a particular concept or or maybe a newsletter idea of yours, or it's introducing someone else. So yeah, they're not, as you suggest, long form videos. It could be certainly something that you introduce a long form video. So you tease them a little bit and then drive them to push that button or drive them to a certain website for them to then watch that whole 1 hour interview that I have with Dave McNeil, for instance.
And if you're sitting around a board table with your board of your various festival or event, and this all seems daunting to you, 2 things come to mind to me. Number one is you're probably skewing higher in the upper demographic. And if you feel it's important, I think it's a great opportunity to bring in youth, to get a little bit younger, to get that mindset, because to them it's second nature. Everything they do involves video or...
Yeah, no, yes and no. I think this is my sort of bold statement of the show. I don't know if every time you need to think of video or anything you need to think of in terms of digital per se or I don't know, I'm not a fan of this traditional versus non-traditional, but people say those phrases. I don't necessarily think you need to bring in young, but I do think they have some ideas. I just think the people around that boardroom table need to have that mindset that we need to first understand that the world has changed in terms of how we engage with people, and once they understand that, then they need to embrace it. They need to embrace it and understand that, okay, now that we've embraced it, the third point is, how do we then, how do we make ourselves a little more different and embracing of the new world order, as they would say, right? So I just think, it's more of an attitude shift, Dave, than it is, bringing in younger folks. It's just really embracing the shift in attitude, and then understanding what technologies can we use for free in many cases, or in some cases pay for it, and then provide that value.
You're listening to FEO on the Air. Javed Khan from EMpression, a marketing services company, is joining us. Today we're talking about video. Back in just a moment with more on FEO on the Air.
Festivals and Events Ontario supports a lively, engaged, and dedicated festival and events industry. Purchase your Festivals and Events Ontario membership today and get a team of people working to help you succeed. Here's just a few benefits that membership provides: promotion, saving money, networking, industry awards, supplier discounts, communications, skills development, and so much more. So many benefits, so little cost. Buy your membership today. Contact us now, Debbie at festivalsandeventsontario.ca.
The voice of festivals and events in Ontario. FEO on the Air continues. Here again is our host, Dave McNeil.
Welcome back to FEO on the Air. Javed Khan from EMpression's marketing services company joins us today. Javed's an international speaker and a really great friend of Festivals Events Ontario. He's always a hit at our conference, and sometimes you're reluctant to bring speakers back time and time again, but Javed's one of those guys that I'm always sort of insistent that he's got to be on the schedule, because he's always got a great message, and there's always a lot of laughter and connectivity coming from that room. Javed, we're talking today about video. Can you talk a little bit about personalizing video and how to make it yours and get your messages across?
Sure, Dave, and hey, thanks for those kind words, my friend. Absolutely. So let personalize video, just so that we understand both in today's conversation, and also conversations that the listeners may be having with their board members. Really, and you alluded to this prior to us going to a commercial. You alluded to the fact that personalized video really is something that's really short. It's a short video, 15 seconds or less, and really it's taking a place of a text message, or it's taking place of a message that you have written down. So rather than you sending them a message via email, written words, you're now actually sending them a personalized video discussing whatever it is that they're discussing. So many cases, in some cases, email can be confusing, because sometimes you don't know what kind of tone they're taking. Sometimes it can come across, not so nice, but that wasn't the intent that you had. So when you're actually putting a voice and a face and emotion to a video message, relaying the same message or idea, it really now you're really rehumanizing this whole digital communication, and you're bringing the human factor back in. So personalized video really sounds like you, it looks like you, it has more of a connectivity. So you really got to think of multiple ways to then use personalized video rather than what I call now text messages. So if you're gonna, I'll give you some examples that I tend to do when I use personalized video. If someone sends me a voicemail message on a phone, I'll send them a personalized video saying, hey Jay, it's Javed, picked up your voicemail. Yeah, we're good to meet at X time and date, and I'll send them a video. Or if I have a meeting with someone a day or two in advance, I'll send them a personalized video saying, hey, John, I'm looking forward to meeting you on X date, X time, X location. Please remember to bring A, B, and C information so we can have the further conversation, that type of stuff. So you're really looking for finding opportunities to rehumanize the communication, the digital communication, to now a more human-to-human connectivity. That's really what personalized video truly is about.
And are the phones and devices today, are they simple to use? I know, people probably use their device to a quarter of the capacity of what the thing's available to do. Is it simple to get into this? What would be your strategy for somebody that's listening to this and say, okay, I'm buying in, I have to get involved? Where's the starting point?
There's three or four things that people need to understand. First and foremost, if you're really serious about this, pick up your phone, figure out someone who you want to do a video with. Perhaps you have a board member that you want to do a video with to relay a specific message to the other board members, or there's a partner that you've just signed up, or you're going to be who's been with you for a while. Pick up that phone. Usually you can use a selfie stick or get someone to hold your phone, hit the record button, and really just say whatever the message you want to say, understanding that you want to keep it short and simple. But there's three things I want people to understand right out of the gate. If you're going to really get into this thing, first and foremost, you got to look for a software. There are software pieces that are out there that will support video both within your email communication pieces and also part of your newsletter sources. So there's multiple software pieces out there. I think there are still some leaders that have an amazing software piece that you can use and incorporate video in your messaging. The one that we tend to use on a regular basis, and we recommend you take a look at. It's one of many. There's Vidyard for sure. There's BombBomb that we are partnered with that we use quite often, and I'm sure there's others. I only really know of the two, but I can certainly suggest I've used both. They're very similar. But if you look at the BombBomb one, the BombBomb software is really one that's been around a longer, probably has been the lead versus the other one. But really, I'll leave that up to your audience for that. Number two, think of simple lighting and audio. So if you're using a phone, just make sure that phone is a couple of inches away from you so that you've got some strong audio. And in terms of lighting, you can certainly buy some very inexpensive lighting sources that you can have in either in your office or with you at all times, so that you always have the light right in front of you, rather than behind you. Lighting and audio are two really big things when it comes to video, as you know, Dave. And the third one is just do it. Just hit that record button and start doing videos. And I have this, I call it a 5 in 5 challenge. And so those audience members who are really serious, like I'm talking capital S serious about that, I'm going to give you this 5 in 5 challenge. Do we've got some time for that? Okay. So here's the 5 in 5 challenge for those folks who are listening and you really want to up your game. So I want you to do 5 videos in 5 days, not 5 business days, 5 days. So the videos can be in multiple ranges. So I'll give you the 5 videos that you can do. So the first one is, in no particular order, you pick whenever you want. The first one is I want you to do a video to someone you know. So someone you're comfortable, like a friend, a family member. Video number 2, I want you to send a video to a referral source to thank them for a referral that they've given you. So it could be, an introduction to a potential partner, an introduction to a volunteer, whatever that is. But basically, it's a thank you video. Number 3, I want you to send a video to someone that you have not ever met, but you would like to meet. So you're actually sending him or her really a cold video introducing yourself, and essentially the call to action there is, hey, let's meet, let's have a conversation. 4 video, so the fourth video of your 5 in 5, I want you to send a video to a I'm going to say a VIP or a partner or someone who's really important, and just give them a nice thank you. Thank them for their support. Thank them for whatever you think is important to them. And the 5th video that I want you to do is I want you to send a video to someone that you've met, but you are now sending them a follow-up note. So you've met them. Now you're going to send them a follow-up note saying, hey, thanks for the meeting. Thanks for the conversation. Here's some of the action items. So that's the 5 in 5. So you can kindly just pause and then go back and go through it again. But that's, if you're serious about it, take that 5 in 5 challenge that I offer everyone who's interested in doing personalized video and go from there. And the reason I give this is because I think from my experience, once you start doing at least 5 videos in a row, your comfort level is going to start kicking in. But more importantly, you're going to think about personalized video and video generally as part of your process. And that's the key here. We've got to think of video not as a way to sell anything. We've got to think of video as a way to engage, build relationships, re-humanize the way we connect. But it has to be part of your process in terms of any of your festival and event audience members out there.
And I think a few important things that just to add on to some of the things you're talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's really important to be yourself too, right? You're not putting on a deep broadcast voice. It's Dave McNeil reporting from the Festival and Events Ontario offices. Right. Be yourself, right? I mean, content is the king.
Yeah.
And I think it's all right to make a few mistakes here and there, but you've got the ability to correct them if you want. But I think the error is human, so they don't all have to be perfect.
Yeah, the number with and I agree with you 100%. I think that when I help people with their video messaging, the number one thing I say is when you click that record button, just visualize and imagine that you're speaking to that person right through that lens, right through that little buttonhole that you're looking at. Just remember that they are on the other side. So speak as if you were going to speak with them. And that's right, Dave. You wouldn't say, "Hey, Dave, how are you doing?" Like, when you're with someone face to face. So why would you do something differently on video? And with the software that I suggested, this software that you can use, it allows you to re-record. So if you make a blunder or you're thinking, I've done this a million times where I'm recording a video, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm blabbing on and on and on. I'll hit stop and I'll re-record. And I've done that in some cases. I do it 3 or 4 or 5 times, not because I want to make it perfect. It's because I just feel that, oh my God, the person who's going to be watching this is not going to be engaged. So I got to switch it up a little bit further. So, please be as authentic as you can. Please be as humorous as you can, and be yourself. Be like as if I'm going to see you the next day. You're going to be the same person. You're not going to change when you throw on video, and that's what I find people do. They try to change themselves, and that's something you may want to avoid.
And I think that's what we're speaking to, right? The authenticity of who you are, and I think sometimes, and comedy is great if that's in your nature. But if that's not who you are, don't all of a sudden try to become a comedian, right? Because you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that's in your nature, that's something that may come out down the road, because if it's your first time meeting and you're introducing, you don't want to put the receiver of the video message wondering, what's this all about?
Right, exactly.
So the importance of being yourself.
Absolutely.
What else should festival and events think about using video for? I mean, obviously capturing moments or scenes at the festival.
Yeah, so, here's another great exercise. So, I'll give you a few items that you can start creating on your list. So it's definitely for video. I'll give you, at least up to 5 ideas right out of the gate. So if you want to certainly, again, jot this down, hit the pause button and jot down further and share this with your board or your team, great. I would say there's 5 areas that you can really use video as a powerful tool in festivals and events, hands down. First and foremost, right out of the gate, is an opportunity for you to really up your game with potential partners. You call them partners. Other people, Dave, called them sponsors. I really like the fact that I like the partner terminology better than sponsor. So when I say partners, I mean sponsors. So you can really up the game with your partners and offering video as part of the package, offering video as part of the true value. Get them involved in some of your videos. Perhaps you're doing certain spotlights with either entertainers or speakers who are coming to your event. Hey, have it brought to you by ABC Company. And that is an opportunity for you to really get your partners involved in the video. Second of all, instead of doing testimonials, written testimonials, get people to do video testimonials. So if you've got audience members or you've got people who have just watched your particular show, have someone with a camera ready to go and offer an opportunity to do a video testimonial. So that's number 2. Number 3, from an internal perspective, if you've got some internal communications you want to create to your board members, for instance, you want to remind them of a board meeting coming up in 2 weeks' time with some attached documents. Hey, send them out a video message saying, "Hi, board members, it's so-and-so. Just reminding you of our board meeting next Thursday at X time, X date, X location. By the way, I've provided some attached documents, including our minutes and whatever information." So there's an opportunity for you to really up your game in terms of internal communications. Here's a 4th idea, and some people are doing this more often than none. At the event, get in front of either the entertainers or get in front of the speakers and get them doing some quick insights and tips right at the event that you can leverage and use. And perhaps that could be a live video that you're doing. So maybe it's a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, but again, it's video. So there you go. And then the 5th idea in terms of video is augmented reality. So what you can do is you can create, as you say, Dave, a simple video on your mobile device. There's augmented reality software that I showcase at at the previous festivals and events conference that is very inexpensive, but wow, it really has that wow factor. So that now someone at your festival and event is looking at a poster and they say, they see this little augmented reality icon. I hover my phone over the picture of the poster and voila, it comes to life with a video. So another opportunity to really wow your audience and up your experience. So there's kind of 5 ideas right out of the gate that you can use video for your festivals and events.
Okay, jumping on the augmented reality, what comes first? Like, do you have to have that piece of video and then the icon, or is somebody that's just starting out? Like, how do you get involved in that? Like, is it a chicken and the egg type of thing?
Yeah, I think the first of all, before even thinking of the chicken and the egg, think about your purpose. So if I'm a festival and event organizer and I'm saying, this augmented reality thing, this is a really cool thing. First of all, what's my purpose? Why am I going to use augmented reality in my event? And it could simply be because I really want to up my audience experience. I want to really have that wow factor. Okay, so once you understand what your purpose is, what your why is, the second thing is understanding. Item number 2 is then where would you leverage this? Would you, do you have beer tents around? So maybe it's an opportunity where you could leverage it on the coasters, where people can hover their phone over the coaster and up, the whole coaster comes to life with a video for someone talking about that specific beer and how it pairs well with Wings or whomever the other suppliers are in and around. So you got to kind of list out, where am I going to leverage this augmented reality? Is it on my posters? Is it going to be on my menu items? How can I leverage my partners in this augmented reality for them to also invest in some of this? Once you understand, so you kind of jot those 2 things down, then you got to figure out, okay, I got to film these videos. Now I've got to film the video, and usually, as you say, Dave, these things have got to be really short and sweet. And these videos are matching up where the specific execution is, and then you're going to figure out, all right, now I got to find myself, a software. And there's a lot of software out there, but certainly through you, Dave, if they're interested, they can connect with me, and we can talk to them about a certain software that we've started to partner with. And not only is it inexpensive, but extremely very easy to implement right out of the gate. And I think people should think about that.
And that's what I was going to get into with some of the video software you mentioned, the Boom Boom and some of the augmented reality. Is it a relatively inexpensive software platforms that we're talking about? I mean, the events world, there's not large budgets, and a lot of us are not for profit. So that price point is a big determining factor on how far engaged you get or you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Both the BombBomb that I suggested and this augmented reality, both software pieces are extremely inexpensive. If you think about the value that you can get out of it, if you think about how, if I'm going to invest X dollars with the software, what's the value I can really get out of this in the longer term play? But you can also then think about the opportunity to recoup that investment through your partnership programs. So if you look at the BombBomb, you can think about, how can I then leverage my partners in this video program and recoup some of my funds from there? You think about the augmented reality, this is where you can actually introduce it to your partners as that added value, and then have them pay into some of the cost for whatever that augmented reality program you're going to think about. But I can assure you and your audiences, Dave, that the 2 pieces that I'm referring to are in pretty much all cases are in the hundreds of dollars. They are not in the thousands of dollars. So I can reassure you, they're in the hundreds of dollars that you're investing in. It really comes down to your creative thinking in terms of how do you get your partners involved to recoup some of the investment, and number 2, what does it look like from a creative standpoint that is going to overall increase that value, not only for your brand, but it's going to increase that value and experience for people who are coming to your event.
You're listening to FEO on the Air. Javed Khan is joining us today from EMpression's Marketing Solutions Services, and we're talking about video and marketing. Back in just a minute with FEO on the Air.
Become a Festivals and Events Ontario member today and join a family of more than 500 members that represent over 1,400 festivals and events in Ontario. Knowledgeable, dedicated, and passionate event organizers and volunteers who can help make your event a success. Membership fees range in price depending on the size of your festival or event. If you're a supplier of goods or services, you can also become a member and get connected with planners across the province. So many benefits, so little cost. Buy your membership today. Contact us now, Debbie at festivalsandeventsontario.ca.
Welcome back. FEO on the Air continues. Here again is our host, Dave McNeil.
Welcome back to FEO on the Air. Javed Khan from EMpression's Marketing Services joins us today. And we're talking about video and the importance of incorporating video into your marketing program. Javed, I asked in our break, are there any of our members that are doing it well? And you have a little bit of a surprising answer for me.
It's a surprising yet a little frustration, Dave, because no, I can't think of any that are doing this well or even doing any. And that to me as a marketer is a massive, not a small, it's a massive opportunity for anyone who's listening to this show right now is to pause and make a self-reflection, say, gosh, why aren't we doing this? And start doing it. And for those audience members who are saying, gosh, we're doing this, well, then send it in and share it and tag FEO and let's see some of the videos that you're doing. You know, it's important that we not only brag about what you're doing, but also important to share some of the great stuff that everyone's doing. But no, I can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, because if it's not top of mind amongst us, it's hard to imagine something that's slipping by. And if something has slipped by, our apologies, and we'll quickly correct that.
Yeah.
But we'd love to be able to cite an example. So the fact that we can't say, look at festival A, B, or C and see how they're incorporated it into their program, where should some of our people look to see some companies or examples of people that are incorporating video into their marketing program and doing it well?
Yeah, so off the top, we talked about Gary Vee, and I suggest you go to Gary Vee, not to look at that and duplicate it, just see how he does. And Gary talks a lot about documenting and not creating, right? So he says document, don't create. And if you look at some of the stuff he does, it's literally on the fly. It's documenting his travels through the day. So that may be something. A lot of the things that from a video standpoint work really well are kind of these behind the scenes videos. And that's what Gary shows in many cases. It's sort of that behind the scenes before he gets on stage or after he comes off stage and meets up with his fans. That is something that resonates really well. And again, that's Gary Vee. That doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do the exact same thing. You know, there's behind the scenes. There are more than likely, Dave, audience members listen to the show right now who are planning their festival and event right now. Well, there's nothing wrong with you to then put together a quick behind-the-scene video, maybe of you and your board talking and sharing ideas. So Gary Vee's one. I can think of another gentleman who's out in the West Coast, and his name is Alex McFadden. If you go to Alex McFadden, he is a mortgage professional doing very well with video messaging, both from a personalized and also he just the way he communicates with his audience in terms of some very interesting concepts. He does it really well. He's got a very specific theme, and it's all around his pug. He's got 2 pug dogs. So if you look at his branding, it's all about him and his pug dogs. So Alex is another great one. There's another gentleman by the name of Brian Schulman who's doing some great stuff. He is doing video every day. Again, very, very specific to his audience. So, I can certainly think of others, but the point is, even if you Google people's organizations and names, there's some financial advisors I can think of who are doing some great video. A guy named Derek Fuchs, Fuchs. Derek Fuchs is doing some really cool video. He's a financial advisor out in the Alberta area. So there are others who are doing it. And again, my frustration here, Dave, and it's a good frustration and it's a massive opportunity, is that we should be seeing more and more festivals and events or organizers doing these things and tagging FEO so that we can give you the kudos as best as we can. So as you mentioned before we came back on air, there's the challenge, right? There's the challenge. So,
and the funny thing is, like, and using Gary Vee as an example, you can get hooked. You can sit at your desk and he provides so much content. You could sit there for 8 hours a day or longer watching Gary Vee content. But you've got to really, the message is so clear and so front and centered that, he uses that reverse pyramid that the flow of information and stuff.
Yeah.
He does it really well.
Yeah, and we talk about him a few times in this show, and we're not suggesting he's the best of the best. What we're suggesting, certainly from my perspective, Dave, is that just look at some of his stuff he does and really duplicate it, like put it into your own world. And it's, he's a big fan, and so am I, of just telling you everything how it's done. There should be no secrets. Let it out, and there's a conversation he's having online right now where people are saying, well, what happens if someone takes my stuff and doesn't credit me? Well, as far as he's concerned, that's great. Go and thank them for that, and away you go. So it's a really interesting conversation piece.
So Javed, as we think about video incorporated into our marketing programs, social media and the best practices there. We just issued a challenge to our members that, not a challenge, but we've offered up our Instagram page that festivals can do a takeover during their event or prior to the event to promote and stuff like that. So what are some tips on how to effectively use video, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn? And LinkedIn is becoming much more of a social media platform rather than just hey, I've been laid off and I'm looking for a job.
Right. Yeah, and I love that challenge. I love that that campaign FEO is doing in terms of doing the takeover. I think it's brilliant. So if you're going to incorporate video in any of the social channels, so let's just suggest, we're going to look at LinkedIn, we're going to look at Instagram, we're going to look at Facebook for now. But certainly these could be for any other social channels. But if you're looking at any of these social channels, I give you 3 or 4 insights and tips right out of the gate when you're doing these, when you're actually incorporating video in these social channels. And these are pretty consistent. First, again, in no particular order, but think about right out of the gate, put together videos that are going to be short and sweet. Videos, in some cases, that are going to be ones that are going to essentially introduce and tease them to go and watch the long-form video. So if you're on Instagram, as you all know, that Instagram is only about a minute or less in terms of timeline. So create a video that's going to be a minute or less, and then have them go to your Instagram television, which is 10 minutes or less. So if you've got a 5-minute video, do a 30-second tease, and then have them go to your 5-minute entire video on Instagram TV, so IGTV. If you're on Facebook, you can do a few things on Facebook. Think about doing Facebook Live. I'm just amazed that not as many people are doing Facebook Live as perhaps they should be doing. But the key about Facebook Live, when you're doing the video for that, is test it before you actually go live. And so do a little test run. But most importantly, promote it. Let people know that a certain time and date you're going to do a Facebook Live with a special guest, whomever that is, and give them the advance notice and send that information out to your email community through your social channels. So if it's Facebook Live, do that in advance. Number 2, in terms of video, and there are some very free pieces of software that you can find that is going to allow you to do the closed caption. So it's going to be captioned, because 80+% of people who are watching video tend to have their volumes automatically muted. So do that in terms of your closed caption. You don't have to. Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. It's really your preference, but that is one of the best practices that you want to provide. And then also with your video, regardless of what social channel you're at, when you're making your video, give people a call to action. Tell them what to do after they watch the video, on video. So if they need to go to a certain website, tell them to go and find the link in their comments section. So that's another point. All the links that you're going to provide as a supporting piece to your video should all be put into the comments section. So regardless of what social channel you're on, drive them to click on the link in the comments section rather than in the actual post itself. And then when you're uploading the video, we call that native uploading. So natively upload your video, meaning, take that video, don't put it on YouTube, and then unless it's more than 10 minutes long in some social channels, if you've got more than 10 minutes of video, you cannot upload it natively. But if it's less than 10 minutes, 1 minute or so, natively upload that MP4 file into the actual social channel, and then away you go. So you want to provide that native capability. So those are some of the best practices and insights, Dave, that people can think about and jot down when they're actually finished the video now and they're going to want to go to the social channel. So here's a great opportunity. The Festivals and Events of Ontario are, wanting you to take over. So if I have the opportunity to take over, I'm going to inundate it with as much video as I possibly can, because that is a really simple thing to do. But boy, that's going to be a game changer, and it's going to gain more attention to my festival and event than anyone else, because I'm sure there's going to be people wanting to take over. Well, let them take over with photos and images and words. Fantastic. I'm going to just inundate it with a bunch of 1-minute videos that I can do within literally 2 minutes or less, right?
So we've issued a few challenges here. Javed, I'm hoping that you'll come back in, let's say, maybe 30 or 60 days, see if anybody's taken us up on the challenge. And hopefully in that time, we can sit down and maybe have them join us on the podcast and talk about the difference it's made to their festival and event. So, we're going to have Javed's contact information available. You know how to get a hold of us, but any lasting impressions you want to leave about video, and we're obviously talking about the getting started. We're not talking about moving to level 2, 3, or 4, because we've got to get people out of the gate. So getting them out of the gate, what are your final thoughts on video and incorporating it into your plan?
It's Dave, it's very simple. Take action now. Hit that record button and do that video. The very easiest way to do it is go back, rewind. If you're listening to this,
you just list the 5 challenge again.
Yeah. So the 5 and 5, once again, is to do 5 videos in 5 days, right? Not business days, 5 days. That could be over a weekend too. So you're going to do a video to someone you don't know. You're going to do a video to a VIP. You're going to do a video to a partner, so someone that has provided some investment in your festival event. You're just going to thank them. You're going to do a video to a family or a friend, and then you're going to do a video as a post-meeting or a post-conversation video. So you met someone, now you're going to follow up 24 hours later, and you're going to send him or her a thank you note or whatever action item you suggested you do as a follow-up. So there's your 5 and 5 challenge. And right out of the gate, it's simply recording. Do as many as you can in terms of practicing. And my whole being here is I want to make this as part of your process. I want to make it part of your overall experience. I don't want it to be laborious and out of the way. I just wanted to make it part of your process.
And if you're looking for a speaker for your group or festival that you want to educate your board, Javed is for certain an engaged speaker and would really help bring your team members forward. Javed, thanks for being here today, and we look forward to coming back and seeing the outcome of this challenge.
Always a pleasure, Dave, and always fun. Thank you.
You've been listening to FEO on the Air. We've had Javed Khan from EMpression's Marketing Services. We've been talking about video. Thanks for listening. I'm Dave McNeil. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to FEO on the Air, the voice of festivals and events in Ontario.
Festivals and Events Ontario has entered the world of podcasting with FEO on the Air. Join us as we sit down and chat with the movers and shakers of the festivals and events community. The goal is to share insight, advice, planning techniques, and overall strategy with you, our FEO members. On the next podcast, would you like us to interview someone specific, cover a particular topic, answer a question? Let us know. FEO on the Air wants to give you what you need to succeed. Contact us now, Dave at festivalsandeventsontario.ca.